Welcome back. Here we are getting ready to apply our finish. So what I'm doing, this is a friction polish. So I put some bit of it on the paper first and then just kind of turn the lathe by hand slowly to put it onto the wood, letting it soak into the wood. I want the wood to soak up a bunch first. So I look sideways down the line at it. That will tell me if it's kind of dried off or not. A friction polish basically is a combination of a wax and some sort of alcohol. And you'll see how I apply it the next phase shortly after we get through this. Like right now, like I said, we're just putting on the base, letting it soak into the wood, letting the wood absorb as much as it can. Again, we've got a bunch of different types of wood in here, so they all absorb different amounts at different rates. So I'm kind of just giving it all an opportunity to soak up as much as they can, and then we'll start putting it on with speed, hence the name friction polish. So I'm just kind of letting it soak in and dry just a little bit here. Sometimes it takes a little bit of putting some coats here. Sometimes I get 3-4 coats on. Again, it just depends on the wood. I've had some that take 6 coats of this stuff before I can really turn on the lathe and get going with the speed. But I've definitely found it makes for a nicer finish when it soaks in as much as it can. So a little bit of patience here, just waiting. I'm kind of looking at it, checking the different types, trying not to touch it. I don't want to touch the finish before it's done. That can leave fingerprints and kind of smudges and ruin things. So here we go. I think we're about to get set with the speed. Now I've cranked it back up to a couple thousand RPMs at once. You can see it's moving real quick. Now we're going to apply it and really squeeze on the wood, hence friction. This does get quite hot. But basically what the heat does is it evaporates the alcohol and allows the wax to adhere to the outside of the wood. You can see it's getting a little hot there, a little handshake. So I'm going to do 3 or 4 coats of this at speed. It doesn't take a lot. Just a little bit will do, but I definitely want to put it on, make sure the whole blank is covered, and then really apply friction and squeeze through as we go through the whole, burning off of that alcohol. You can actually see some of the wood coloring staining the paper towel. It's always interesting to me what colors come out onto the paper towel, combined with the mix of the alcohol and the wax that's left behind it. A little bit of wax that's left behind the paper. Really getting those final coats on. After I put on the final coat, I think this is number 3 if I count it correctly. I did 3 or 4. Now we're going to let it sit and rest for 10 to 15 minutes before I touch it and take it off the lathe to move on to our next step. So we're just going to give it a second here. Now we're going to kind of check it, look at it, turn on the light so I can see it nice and clearly. So we've waited our time through the magic of editing, and now we're going to pull it off, take off those extra spacer bushings, get that out of the way. Try and keep my bushings separated so I know what to use them for in the future. And there we go. It's now safe to touch and move and handle. Came out really beautifully. Just kind of assessing it, figuring out what side is looking at it, making sure the bump where I left the lump there for where the grip is going to feel good, and I'm kind of happy with it. So putting everything away and getting ready for the assembly. Stay tuned for the next step, putting it together. Welcome back. Final stage of pen making. This is the culmination of all that hard work. So we're taking it off the lathe, pulling everything apart, putting all the bushings back where they belong, keeping them separate. Those are specific to each pen kit, so I want to keep everything as coordinated and organized as possible so I don't have to buy those things over and over again. So we're just kind of looking at it, making sure that the little bulge I left there for the grip is going to work out. I'm very happy with how it turned out. Again, putting those bushings back in the marked bag so I don't lose them. Then we're just going to move over from the lathe to the assembly section of my workbench. Here we go. So that's the blank, a nice close-up of it. Looks pretty cool. I love the way the woods came together. Here's the actual ink cartridge. There's a little tool. There's the pen clip, the click mechanism, and our little tip. We'll pull them out of the bags here. These bags are a little too small for my fat fingers sometimes, so it can be a little bit of a process to get them out of the bags without losing my mind. But this is a basic pen kit. Comes with everything you need except for the blank, and of course our brass tube is inside the wood, so that's what these things get put together with. It's all held together with friction, so it literally uses a press to push everything into place, and you'll see that in just a minute here. First step is opening everything and getting it out, making sure it's all looking good and working properly. Again, struggling with getting these bags open. There's the tip and the pen clip. Nice, beautiful, shiny. I think this is 10 karat gold. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is 24 karat gold. This one came out this is a nice one. There's our little click mechanism, and the I don't know what oh yeah. There's a little assembly tool because there's the click at the tip. We don't want to press with that. It might destroy the mechanism inside. Like I said, it will be pressed together in a second. And then the actual ink cartridge with the spring. This is what's called a Parker cartridge. There's a number of different types and sizes. So you want to make sure that whatever kit you're using, you have the right ink cartridge that goes with it. I think I had to cut that one open just to get it out. And there you go. You can see it's kind of fat cartridge there. So that's everything that we're going to use to put this thing together. Assembly is generally pretty quick, not very complicated, pretty straightforward. We're going to move everything out of the way so I can get my pen press in here. And then you'll see how it comes together in just one second here. So this is my pen press. It's very straightforward. Just put the pieces together. So we're going to start with the tip. Stick it in one end of the press. Pull it back. Oh, realized I got to open up some more and adjust. I think I even had to adjust my pen press to make it wide enough to accommodate the blank and the tip. Move the camera back. This is one of the longer pens I've put together. I think the longest, actually. I haven't had to extend out my press as much as I did for this time, but still it came out really nice. And then we just put it in the press and literally push it together. Basically the brass at the end of the tip there is just going inside the brass tube inside the wood, and that friction there just holds it together. It's not coming out. It'll be really hard to get that back out again and in a salvageable manner. Now I'm going to put the clip right there onto the click mechanism. On some pens, I'm particular about where I put the clip around the blank. Here we'll see how that assembly tool comes into play, should I say. So that goes to protect the clicker mechanism, but still will allow for the pen to be pressed together. If I've got a pen, a blank of wood that's got like a blemish or something, or a nice grain line, I think the pen clip will accentuate. I try to specify that just to be fun with it and keep it kind of nice and aesthetic. So there it is. That's the finished pen. It's all put together. The tip unscrews, as you see here, and this is how we will insert our ink cartridge. Goes right in there, just slides right in, and then the tip screws back on. So these ink cartridges are available on Amazon or Office Depot, that kind of place. So this is a pen that'll last forever. Here it is, the finished pen, made from 12 different pieces, one for each day of Riḍván, and the 1st, 9th, and 12th pieces are made of a special 5,000-year-old wood.